Okay, well, what I wanted to try and do, if I could, is summarize what I heard today. So you're going to have to bear with me and my scribbles. We started the day with Kamal Singh, who heads the UN Global Compact India, and he cited a very important statistic that if India achieves the SDGs, it's estimated, the world would be 50% of the way toward achieving the SDGs by 2030, including SDG 11, Sustainable Cities. And well done to the UN Global Compact India for being in the top 10 of the Global Compact's networks around the world. We also had a panel following with funders. They are absolutely critical. We heard from Anna at the UK's Department for International Development that it's going to take something like $5 trillion worth of investment to achieve the SDGs. Where is that coming from? And certainly funders like DFID are trying to do their part with a global challenge research fund on the SDGs. We also heard from Barbara Mueller at the BMW Foundation, who was highlighting the important role for leaders, particularly young leaders, to take charge on the SDGs. And we also heard from Manish of UN Environment Program, and he was talking about expanding research beyond the big universities, maybe even beyond formal education, as a way to disseminate information and knowledge. We had a very rich discussion in our expert cafe. And then we had our lunchtime special guest, Yash Ranga of Jaipur Carpets. And I liked a phrase that he said. I'm going to really mull this over. He said, "Hope is a beggar that makes you walk on fire." He was going to tell me if I got that right later. But I think what I interpret that to mean is, don't hope, do. And look at the model of social and economic empowerment, which is what they are trying to do, and engaging the artisans who are making the carpets that Jaipur Carpets sells. It's a story of potential, he said. It is a story of people buying the rich work of the artisans and the all of the energy and the personal stories that are woven into those carpets. And he introduced us to the concept of conscious luxury. We had a great engagement in the partnership fair, particularly around the use of technology. Three that I'll mention: the iTech mission and the use of technology to visualize the key data on performance of states on the SDGs. Very impressive. We also heard from Safe City Red Dot Foundation and what they are doing to educate not only women but also men about the importance of avoiding sexual harassment and using technology in cities around the world, not only here in India, to highlight when there are issues and for those who are concerned to be able to receive support. And then we also had the students from the Center for Urban Design Innovation. They showed me a very interesting idea about creating new cities that help the elderly in particular, in the example I was shown, to engage, not be isolated, to really look at being a part of the community by just how the new city is built and the public spaces and how that benefits all members of the community in terms of the engagement with the older population. Afterward, we heard from Ambassador Kim Won-soo about the danger of ever-growing mega cities, that we need smaller cities. We need to avoid the pollution, the extreme weather conditions, the depression and isolation that comes along with megacities. We need new, smaller cities. And we need to think about how digital can help with harmonizing the interests of all players in the city and in rural communities as well. Hannah Lim of LexisNexis Legal and Professional gave us a really important overview of what it means to go beyond legal minimums to advance the rule of law. She gave us practical examples from Malaysia, from Myanmar, from the Maldives, from Singapore. And we have just had a really fantastic presentation from O.P. Agrawal of WRI, which is Force for Good in the World, and particularly stimulated a lot of discussion around smart transport. It's got to come. You know, that chart was absolutely shocking when you look at how since around 1981, you know, it's just gone, you know, through the roof to 2016, which was the end date on that chart. So we need to think about what you were discussing with us about the need for owning the ride and not the car, as your daughter does, the need for private and public partnerships and how that can work for the good, having IT-based solutions, looking at the rise of electric vehicles, shared experience of transport, and also the microbus. I'll be waiting for it to pick me up tomorrow. And I think in closing, from something that motivated us for our SDG Inspiration Day, I wanted to just show you a video. We asked the former Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, as we heard today, the father, the godfather of the SDGs, what is the importance of data and partnerships to advance them? Let's hear what he had to say.
As you know, there are 17 goals, 169 targets, and 230 indexes. In making sure that the SDGs are all implemented in its entirety, it's important that we need to have a very systematic and scientific checking and assessment of the situation. Their information and data can play a very important role. Without knowing how much we are making progress, you will not be able to know where we are going. In the course of consulting with the member states on SDGs, I established a group high-level panel of scientists, world's best scientists, and also I established one panel of statisticians so that these statistics and scientific evidences could be used as a way to gauge the level of implementation of Sustainable Development Goals. And therefore, the information and data can play a very important role. Not only in SDGs, in all our activities and visions of the United Nations, partnership is the most essential things which we have to form, establish. Without partnership, there is not a single country or individual, however powerful, however resourceful one may be, there is nothing we can do alone. That's why we must establish a very strong, firm, trilateral partnerships among governments, business communities, and civil societies. And this has been my consistent message to the people of the world. So let's try to establish a strong partnership.
And I think that the purpose today of this SDG Inspiration Day Delhi is about the partnerships that hopefully you will form from the people that you have met today and where you have discussed shared synergies. And so I hope today is a beginning rather than an end, and that we will be able to collaborate further. And I would like to thank the Ban Ki-moon Center for Global Citizens as a partner, the United Nations Global Compact Network India, and also the Responsible Media Forum for joining us in bringing this to fruition. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank the excellent hotel staff for their support, our AV and event partners for their excellent work, and for the RELX Corporate Responsibility team, Nicole Walsh, Jake King, and Helen Shepard deserves a special mention, because if it wasn't for Helen, we wouldn't be here today, I don't think, or it wouldn't have been in the same way. So thank you, Helen. Stay in touch with us and use the SDG Resource Centers. So we've been giving you the small cards. Take that away. Please share it with your networks. We want you to use the content that we are aggregating from across RELX and making available to you and from our partners. And just thank you again. And please join us for a drink just where we had lunch behind the enclosure there. So thank you very, very much, and I think it's been a really great day.